I'm Stephen, USSR Robinson, and you're watching Sport Icons. Papa!
Okay, so if, and it is a big if, Tyson Fury follows through with his retirement plans, vacates the WBC belt, deletes his Instagram, all that kind of stuff, whatever it is that he says he's going to be doing, then what would happen with the WBC World Heavyweight Championship? Now, there's a few ways of looking at it. You could look at it and say, well, the number 2 and number 3 in the WBC, Joyce and Joseph Parker, well, they're going to be fighting in July anyway. Maybe them two can fight for the vacant WBC World Heavyweight Championship. And, of course, it would make sense. Because, obviously, the number 1, Deontay Wilder, we don't know what he's doing. We really don't. But, of course, currently, that will be for the WBO mandatory position anyway. But the WBO mandatory position isn't going to be fulfilled for quite some time. Because that's the last one that Joshua just had with Alexander Usyk. So the winner of Joshua Usyk will then go round to the WBA will be next, then the IBF, then the WBO. Okay, so in the meantime, obviously because the winner of Joshua Usyk, they're going to have this backlog of mandatories. Okay, so ideal world, of course, is Tyson Fury doesn't vacate and he goes and fights the winner of Joshua Usyk. Ideal scenario before the end of the year. Okay, but as I said, if Tyson Fury vacates, what to do? Now, I believe that they should do what they've done in the 80s. Have a heavyweight tournament. You remember back in the mid-80s, I think it was, where Don King put on a heavyweight tournament and Mike Tyson won that tournament. He became undisputed champion. But with this one, the WBC could do a tournament. Because they have said before that they'd like the champions to fight each other and this, that and the other, but ultimately it's down to the promoters, it's down to the managers, all that kind of stuff. But the WBC, they can intervene and they can order a tournament with their top 8, for example. Now, it's a win-win for fans in some ways, because we don't have to be sitting around waiting to see what's going to happen with the WBC belt, because we know what the traction is going to be. The undisputed fight, yes, that's going to take a back burner, but it's going to take a back burner anyway. But if you have, say, top 8, again, I don't know where Dillian Whyte's going to fit in with these top 8, for example, because obviously he was WBC interim world heavyweight champion. He just lost to Tyson Fury. But likewise, Deontay Wilder is currently ranked number 1 in the WBC, even though he got stopped twice by Tyson Fury in his last 2 fights. But yeah, he's still ranked number 1. So I would imagine that Dillian Whyte will be in the top 8 somewhere, there or thereabouts. So the top 8, a tournament could be between Deontay Wilder, Dillian Whyte, Joyce, Joseph Parker, Frank Sanchez, Andy Ruiz Jr., Arslanbek, Makhmudov, and Luis Ortiz. So that would be the top 8. If Dillian Whyte's not going to be in the top 8, then Filip Hrgović. But Filip Hrgović is obviously fighting Zhilei Zhang for the IBF mandatory, which will be called straight after the WBA. So why not? As I said, they've done this back in the 80s with Don King, where Mike Tyson, he won the undisputed. You had people like Frank Bruno and that in there and others. So there's no reason in the world why they couldn't do this for this one. It's ideal. And of course, you have the top 8 will then be justifying their position by fighting each other, which is something that boxing fans always say, fight each other. Why they're not fighting each other? Why is the number 3 in the WBC fighting the number 26? Why is the number 5 in the IBF fighting the number 32? Do you know, at least this way, you know who's going to be there. Because there has to be a reason for the rankings. Otherwise, there's no point to them. So why not do that? There's no reason in the world why not. Who will come out on top? Well, difficult to say, isn't it? Everybody there has a legitimate shot. But again, if you just look at, say, the top 8, you could say that Joyce, Joseph Parker, that's already a match. That's made. Andy Ruiz Jr., Luis Ortiz, that's already a fight, apparently is already signed. Of course, we're still waiting for official confirmation of that one, so why not? You can have Deontay Wilder versus Dillian Whyte. Arslanbek Makhmudov versus Frank Sanchez. There's your 4 fights. Why not? Anyway, that's my thoughts. So if Tyson Fury does vacate, as I said, hopefully he doesn't. I'd like to see him have, if he's going to have at least one more fight, just fight the winner of Joshua Usyk, give us an undisputed fight. But if he's dead set against it and he doesn't feel like he needs to, because obviously he has won every belt that there is to offer, he has had 2 defences of his world title, sold out Wembley Stadium, 94,000, got plenty of money in the bank, what does he need it for? There's that way to look at it. Anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours, click thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video.